6-3 Day 3, double angle power reducing and half angle formulas. Our learning goal is that you will be able to prove and apply trig identities. I have provided here the half angle formulas. You need to get familiar with these three formulas. Notice tangent has three possible formulas that you can use. Erase that so you can see it. And that plus or minus sign that you see for each formula does not mean that there are two possible answers. That means that you must determine based upon your angle that is given if you should use the positive or negative formula. Okay, example 1. Use a half angle formula to find the exact value of each expression. So we're going to start off with sine of 105. And we have to figure out what angle are we taking half of. Well, that would be sine of 210. We're just going to write it as a half of an angle. And then because 105 is in quadrant 2, where sine is positive, we are going to use the positive formula. So it'll be 1 minus cosine of 210, because that's our half angle. Divided by 2. Well, 210 is the same thing as 30 degrees. So 30 degrees, that coordinate is radical 3 over 2, comma 1 over 2. But because 210 is in quadrant 3, both of those coordinates are negative, which means that cosine of 210 is negative. So a negative and a negative make a positive. So to help us get rid of this fraction and a fraction, we're just going to multiply everything by the denominator, which is 2. You have to do everything too. So that simplifies, because that cancels out. That's what you want to happen. 2 plus radical 3 all over 4. Alright, the top part we can't do anything with, but we can simplify the bottom because 4 is a perfect square. And then you're done. Alright, part B. Now let's try cosine. Let's try 22.5. Well, what angle are we taking half of to get 22.5? That would be 45 degrees. So you write it as a half angle. And since 22.5 is in quadrant 1, where cosine is positive, then we're going to use the positive half angle for cosine, which is 1 plus cosine of our half angle, which is 45, all over 2. And make sure you make that square root cover the top and the bottom. Alright, cosine of 45, we should know that is radical 2 over 2. And we're going to do the same thing, multiply everything by 2. So those cancel. And you're going to get radical 2 plus square root of 2 all over 4. And just square rooting the bottom. That's your answer. Example 1 continued. We're going to do one more half angle, which is tangent. Alright, 112.5 is the half angle for what angle? And if you don't know, you can always double it. Or you can just take this and multiply it by 2. And that will give you your half angle, or the number you're taking half off. And that will be 225. And because 112 is in quadrant 2, where sine is the only, sine and cosecant are the only ones that are positive, we have to use the negative formula for tangent. So it'll be negative 1 minus cosine of my angle, which is 225, divided by sine of 225. And then 225 is the same thing as 45, which is radical 2 over 2, but it'll be plus. And sine of 225 is the same thing. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing and multiply everything by 2. So that's gone, that's gone. So I'm left with negative 2 plus radical 2 over radical 2. And I'm just going to rationalize the denominator. And you'll get negative, I'm going to have to distribute 2 radical 2 plus 2 all over 2. And if I reduce both of those, I'm going to get negative radical 2 minus 1. And there's my answer.